Hello, this is Father David, here with day 10 of the Nativity Fast 2024, and perhaps an example of perhaps I should look ahead as I go into various topics, because this beautiful chapter for today, on November 24th, Making Room for the Christ Child, I looked at it in the table of contents and thought, well, usually we hear the Christmas story and we think of no room in the inn, that when Mary and Joseph went to Bethlehem, there was no room in the inn for any visitors. That was all booked up with everyone that was there for the taxation that Caesar Augustus was imposing upon all of his subjects. Everyone was there. They had to find the cave, the stable, the manger. And this is what I assumed. But this is a beautiful reflection of something that I did touch upon in yesterday's video, I believe it was yesterday, to say not only does Christ exhibit incredible humility by becoming low and weak and vulnerable, but the Mother of God also truly makes room within herself for the Christ child. And it is a meditation on exactly what we do owe her. She speaks of, Laura Jansen speaks of the Annunciation, the Feast of the Annunciation, and how it is the beginning of her offering of herself and her whole body as her uterus expands, her internal organs are displaced by a growing child. And she truly and literally makes room for the Christ child. It's truly beautiful. And I invite you, if you have this book, go in and read the entirety of these chapters. These are very small chapters. They're really only about 3 to 4 pages each one. Easily workable every day. But there is a couple of phrases here. It is a debt of no glib gratitude we owe her, for every time she carried him without stumbling, for each trip to the synagogue, every prayer said at home. She mentions how, even after his birth, the sacrifice she makes does not stop at morning sickness and an aching lower back, but throughout her life. And she speaks of when he's a baby. There is another beautiful meditation that another Orthodox mother gave, and please forgive me, I have forgotten the source, but the point remains, and it is a beautiful thing that has stuck with me, that it likens the words of Christ when he says, "This is my body broken for you in Holy Communion. This is my blood shed for you." That the mother says this in love as well to the child when he awakens at 3 a.m. for a feeding. And she obediently goes in, takes her child from the bed or from beside her and says, "This is my body given for you. My blood has been shed in childbirth for you." This is. And of course, we speak of the Mother of God as a seedless conception, as a miraculous birth. We know that she is ever virgin before and after giving birth. And so, the exact nature of this would be unknown to us. But her blood is given to nourish the developing child within the womb. And it is a beautiful image of self-sacrifice, a kenotic, kenosis meaning self-emptying. And the final thing she says is echoing the words of St. John the Forerunner as she grows, to say, "He, the one in my womb, must increase, and I must decrease." This humility and this understanding of her significance and truly our significance is not found in how we put ourselves forward in order to be noticed or be appreciated or be thanked or be admired, in this world. But ultimately, because doing that is simply chasing our own tail, and it is ultimately pointless, and it is ultimately something that will end in a grave. And we've all seen the various ways that people talk about it. You can't take it with you. The rich and the poor are very different in this earthly life, but then, images will be put forward as, the rich and the poor, and you have the rich man with all of his fine clothing and his, wads of cash, and the poor man with the shabby clothing and, sitting on a street corner dejected. But then, in life and then in death, you see rich man, poor man, and they're both just coffins, Ultimately, any seeking out of notoriety, of importance, of wealth, of possessions, of status, of anything, will meet with death, will meet with ultimately an end to it. But she understands that the one who is coming and who now is within her, who is increasing and she decreasing, that her significance is ultimately like a sign, not significant for what it is, like a road sign with an arrow pointing one way or something like that. Significant not because of what it is, but significant for that towards which it is pointing. For us, we constantly should meditate on the fact that our life is temporary. And we have been given an opportunity to connect, to commune, to know, to love the one who is from everlasting life and who seeks to give us that everlasting life. And thus we have the opportunity to invite others along the path towards that everlasting life, all the while showing them the care, the concern, the love, the patience, the forgiveness that we all have been shown ourselves through this self-emptying God. And this is what we see in her, someone who recognizes the Spirit of the Lord as being humble and servile and imitates this herself in a beautiful and perfect way. May we imitate both him and her in understanding that we must decrease and he must increase. For that is truly the only thing that will endure into eternity and into paradise. So may the Lord God bless you. Lord willing, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.